everyday English podcast
by English Talking Today.
Welcome back to English Talking Today, the podcast where we talk about real life in real English. I'm Mary, and with me as always is the wonderful Stephen.
Hello everyone, so good to be here with you all.
So Stephen, today's topic is one that, to be honest, has always kind of intimidated me. It's a word that for a long time I really didn't like. The topic is discipline.
Yeah, that's a heavy one, isn't it? When you hear that word, what's the first image that pops into your head? For me, it's always this kind of scary, military-style discipline. You know, waking up at 5 a.m., freezing cold shower, working out for 2 hours, never eating a cookie, and having to be perfect all the time.
Exactly. Me too. It's this image of a superhuman ideal. Like, you have to be this perfect robot who never feels lazy, who's always motivated, and who has no fun. And for most of us, it's not realistic, is it? It feels impossible, and so we don't even try.
Right, and that's a huge part of the problem. We've been sold this idea of discipline as this kind of brutal self-punishment. But what we want to talk about today is a different kind of discipline. A more gentle, human, and honestly, a more effective kind.
Yes. It's about redefining what discipline actually is. We've come to see it as something much simpler. Not a grand, overwhelming ideal, but a small, everyday act. It's about doing what you say you'll do, even when you don't feel like it. That's it. It's that simple. It's a commitment to yourself.
Exactly. And the magic of this is that it takes the pressure off. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Instead of trying to be a superhero, you're just a person who keeps their promises to themselves. So, we've got 4 key points today on how to cultivate this kind of gentle, human discipline. We're going to walk you through some really practical steps that have helped us a lot.
So, the first point is something we've both had to learn the hard way. It's to start small with tiny habits. I think the biggest mistake we all make is setting these massive, overwhelming goals. You want to learn English? Your goal is to be fluent in 6 months. You want to get healthy? You decide you're going to work out for 2 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And what happens, Mary? You do it for maybe 2 or 3 days. You feel completely exhausted and overwhelmed, and then you just stop completely. The goal becomes so big that it feels impossible and your brain goes into flight mode. It just runs away from the stress.
Right, so the better way is to do the complete opposite. It's about building momentum, not setting records. It's about a concept called tiny habits. Instead of working out for 2 hours, what if you just do 1 push-up? Just 1. Instead of reading a book for an hour, what if you just read 1 page?
And it sounds ridiculous, right? Just 1 push-up? But the point isn't the 1 push-up itself. The point is the act of doing it, of proving to yourself that you can follow through. It's about creating a small win. And that small win builds confidence, which in turn fuels the next small win. It's like a domino effect. The hardest part is often just getting started. So you make the start so ridiculously easy that you can't say no.
I love that. You make it so simple that saying no becomes harder than just doing it. I had a hard time getting into meditation. I would sit down and tell myself, okay, 20 minutes of total silence and stillness. And I would last maybe 30 seconds before I gave up. But then I read about tiny habits and I decided, okay, I'll just meditate for 1 minute.
And did it work?
It did. The first day I did it, I thought, well, that was so easy. And the next day I thought, okay, I can do 1 minute again. And then after a week of 1-minute sessions, it felt so easy that I naturally started extending it. That 1 minute became 2, then 5, and now I can comfortably do 10 or 15 minutes. The goal wasn't to meditate for a long time. The goal was to just start.
That's the key right there. It's about proving to yourself, I'm the kind of person who meditates. I'm the kind of person who reads. Or, in our case, I'm the kind of person who practices English. For our listeners who are trying to improve their English, a huge, vague goal like, I want to be fluent, can feel overwhelming. So, instead, what's a tiny habit? It could be listening to just 1 minute of an English podcast, or reading just one sentence of an English article, or saying just one English phrase out loud to yourself.
That's so powerful. It's not about the size of the action. It's about the consistency of the action. That small, daily act creates a little whisper of confidence in your mind. Over time, that whisper becomes a strong voice.
All right, so our second point builds directly on the first. It's to focus on systems, not just goals. Now, this might sound a little bit technical, but it's really the core of what we're talking about. A goal is a result you want to achieve. A system is a process that leads to that result.
That's a great way to put it. So, a goal would be, I want to run a marathon. A system would be, I will train 3 times a week for 30 minutes, increasing my distance by 10% each week. One is the destination. The other is the map to get there.
Exactly. Goals are great for setting a direction, but systems are what actually get you there. If you're an athlete, your goal is to win the championship. But your system is your daily practice, your nutrition plan, your recovery routine, and the specific drills you run. You can't control whether you win or not, but you can control whether you follow your system.
And that's the beautiful part of this. It takes the pressure off the outcome. You can't control everything in life, but you can control your actions. When you focus on the system, you're focused on the present moment. You're not worried about a distant future. You're just thinking, what's my system for today?
Exactly. And the magic of a good system is that it makes success feel inevitable. You're not relying on a sudden burst of motivation. You're relying on a slow, consistent process.
So much less stressful. When you have a clear system, you don't have to wake up and decide what to do. The decision is already made. That reduces what we call decision fatigue. If your goal is just practice English, you have to decide how every single day. Do I read? Do I listen? Do I write? What do I do? And that daily decision-making can be exhausting.
Totally. But if your system is, I will spend 15 minutes listening to a podcast while I make my breakfast every morning, the decision is already made. You just put on your headphones and start listening. The system takes the mental effort out of it. The magic of a good system is that it makes success feel inevitable. You're not relying on a sudden burst of motivation. You're relying on a slow, consistent process.
And I think it also helps you feel like you're always making progress, even if it's small. If you're focused on a goal and you don't hit it, you feel like you failed. But if you're focused on a system and you've done your daily 15 minutes of listening, you can say, yes, I followed my system today. That's a win. You feel good about yourself and you're building that sense of competence we talked about.
All right, so on to our third point. This is probably my favorite one, and it's something that completely changed my view of discipline. It's to make habits attractive. For so long, I thought discipline had to be painful. The more it hurt, the better it was for you, right? But that's totally wrong. The easier and more enjoyable a habit is, the more likely you are to stick with it.
You're so right. This is where we get to be a little bit sneaky and trick our brains. The core idea is what's often called habit stacking or temptation bundling. You take something you need to do and pair it with something you want to do.
Perfect. The classic example is someone who hates working out. You tell them, I will only allow myself to watch my favorite show, The Crown on Netflix, when I'm on the treadmill. Or I can only listen to my favorite podcast when I'm doing the dishes. You're linking something that feels like a chore with a reward that you actually look forward to.
It's genius because it makes the habit a little bit of a treat. The brain starts to associate the habit with pleasure. It's like, oh, I get to do my favorite thing. And all I have to do is this other thing I normally don't like. And over time, the line between the two things starts to blur. You might actually start to look forward to doing the dishes because it means you get to listen to that podcast. It's a way to practice English without it even feeling like practice. You're just doing something you love, and English is part of the package. You can also use small rewards. After you finish your daily 10 minutes of English practice, you can have a cup of your favorite tea, or maybe a small piece of chocolate. It's a small reward for a small, consistent action.
This is so important because it taps into our brain's reward system. The more we get a little dopamine hit after an action, the more our brain wants to do that action again. So instead of fighting against our natural tendencies, we're working with them. We're making the path of least resistance the path of good habits.
So our final point is something that ties all of this together, and it's to manage willpower and energy. Stephen, you mentioned before that willpower feels like a muscle. What do you mean by that?
It's a great metaphor. You know how when you go to the gym, you can lift a heavy weight maybe 5 times, and then your muscle is completely exhausted? That's what willpower is like. It's a limited resource. Every time you have to make a tough decision, what to eat, whether to hit the snooze button, whether to go to the gym, you are using up a little bit of that willpower. And just like a muscle, it gets weaker and weaker the more you use it.
That makes so much sense. I've definitely felt that. By the end of a long, stressful day at work, my willpower is gone. I get home and I just want to sit on the couch and watch TV, even if I planned on doing something productive. I have no mental energy left to make a good choice.
This is why it's so dangerous to rely solely on willpower. If you're a busy person, you're using your willpower all day long just to get through your job and your responsibilities. So when you get home and you're faced with the choice, should I watch Netflix or should I study my English for 30 minutes? Guess which one wins? The easy no willpower choice.
So, what's the solution? The solution is to set yourself up for success before your willpower runs out. The first 3 points we talked about are all designed to do this. By starting with tiny habits, you make the action require almost no willpower. By having a clear system, you reduce the number of decisions you have to make each day. And by making your habits attractive, you make them things you want to do, not things you have to force yourself to do.
That's it. It's about building an environment and a process that makes the good choices easy. So, for example, if you want to start a new English learning habit, you don't wait until you get home from a long day to decide what to do. You set it up in the morning when your willpower is at its highest. Maybe you get your English book and a cup of coffee ready the night before. You lay out your workout clothes next to the bed, so they are the first thing you see when you wake up.
It's called designing your environment. When you come home tired from work, you don't have to think about it. The good choice is right there, ready to go. You're not fighting against yourself. You're just following the path you already laid out.
Exactly. And also, it's so important to remember to recharge that willpower battery. That means getting enough sleep, eating well, and giving yourself time to rest. You can't be disciplined all the time. Sometimes, the most disciplined thing you can do is give yourself a break so that you have the energy to follow through the next day.
I think that's a beautiful point. We have to be kind to ourselves. Discipline isn't about being a machine. It's about being a consistent human. It's about understanding our own limitations and working with them, not against them. So, let's quickly recap. We've talked about how to change our view of discipline from a scary, military-style concept to a gentle, human practice. The core idea is that discipline is just the act of doing what you say you'll do. And to do that, we have 4 key steps.
First, start small with tiny habits. Don't go for the big, overwhelming goal. Instead, start with an action so small you can't say no to it, like reading just 1 page of a book. It's about building momentum and a sense of accomplishment.
Second, focus on systems, not just goals. A goal is a result, but a system is a process. Create a clear, daily system that removes the need for daily decision-making. Instead of practice English, try listen to an English podcast for 10 minutes every day.
Third, make habits attractive. Pair something you want to do with something you need to do. Bribe your brain into making the good choices by rewarding yourself or linking a new habit with an old, enjoyable one.
And finally, manage your willpower and energy. Remember that willpower is a limited resource. Set yourself up for success when your willpower is high, so you don't have to rely on it when it's low. And remember to rest and recharge.
That's it. So, we hope that this has made the word discipline feel a little less scary. It's not about being perfect, and it's not about being a robot. It's about building a kind and consistent relationship with yourself.
And it all starts with just one tiny step. We'd love to know what tiny habit you're going to start with. Just 1 page? 1 push-up? Or maybe 1 minute of English listening? Let us know in the comments below.
We'll see you all next time on English Talking Today.
Bye for now.
Hello, and welcome back to English Talking Today. My name is William, and I am so glad you're here. In this episode, we are going to dive into something incredibly important for anyone learning English. Active listening is a skill that can transform the way you understand and use the language. We've all been there, listening to a native speaker and feeling lost, or trying to follow a movie and missing key moments. Native speakers often talk quickly, use difficult words, and sometimes mumble, which means they speak unclearly. It can be frustrating, but I'm here to tell you there's a better way. Today, I'll share some powerful active listening techniques that will help you become a more confident and effective English listener. Active listening is about more than just hearing English. It's about making a real effort to understand what you hear. It's about being focused and paying attention to the speaker. It isn't about trying to catch every single word, but about listening with a purpose, to understand the message, not just the sounds. We often listen passively, letting the speaker talk without thinking much about what they're saying. Maybe we are tired, distracted, or thinking about something else entirely, like dinner or our phone. Active listening is different because it requires your full attention. You're not thinking about other things. You're thinking about what the speaker is trying to say and the main idea. You are actively using your brain, not just your ears. This is a crucial concept for learning English because when you listen actively, your brain works harder and learns faster. It helps you connect words to their meaning and sounds to understanding. Active listening is all about focus and thinking while you listen. By doing this, you will improve your English, understand more, and over time, listening will become easier and more enjoyable. Now, let's get into the specific techniques that will help you become a better active listener, one step at a time. The first technique is a simple but incredibly helpful habit. Predict before you listen. To predict means to guess what might happen, to make a smart guess before something occurs. When you predict before listening, you try to guess what the speaker will say before they start talking. This technique is so helpful because it gets your brain ready. It helps your mind think about possible words, ideas, and topics related to what you're about to hear. When the speaker begins, your brain is already faster and can more easily grasp the meaning. For instance, if you're about to listen to a podcast about food, you can ask yourself questions like, will they talk about cooking? Will they mention names of fruits or vegetables? Will they describe tastes like sweet or spicy? When you think this way beforehand, your brain becomes more active and you already have ideas in your head. This makes it easier and faster to understand the ideas when you hear them. The same applies to watching a video about travel. Before you start, you can stop and ask yourself what words you might hear, such as ticket, passport, or flight. Even if your guess isn't completely accurate, the important thing is that you've prepared your brain. Think of it as warming up before exercise. Just as a warm-up helps your body move better, predicting helps your mind understand better. So, before you listen, take just 10 seconds to ask yourself what the topic is and what you think you'll hear. This small step can make a big difference in your comprehension. The second technique is to listen for the main ideas, not every word. A common mistake many learners make is trying to understand every single word. However, the truth is, you don't need to understand every word to grasp what someone is saying. Native speakers often use new words, idioms, or slang, and you won't always know every term, and that's perfectly okay. Instead of stopping to look up every new word in a dictionary, your goal should be to focus on the main idea and understand the big picture. Ask yourself, what is the speaker's main point? For example, if someone says, I didn't go to the party because I had a splitting headache, you might not know what splitting means. But you can still understand the core message. They didn't go to the party because they had a headache, which is why they stayed home. You understood the main idea without knowing one of the words. Here's another example. We ran into some unexpected delays at the airport, but we finally made it to Paris last night. Even if unexpected or delays are new words for you, you can still hear the important parts. Something happened at the airport that caused a problem, but in the end, they arrived in Paris. This is the main idea, and that's enough. When you watch a movie or listen to a podcast, you're trying to understand the message, not translate every single word. Understanding even 60% of what you hear is a good starting point. And if you understand the big idea, you're doing great. Over time, your understanding will naturally grow, more words will become familiar, and your brain will fill in the missing pieces more easily. So, the next time you hear a new word, don't panic. Just keep listening calmly and focus on the main message. That's what good listeners do. Now for technique number 3, which many learners forget but is very powerful. Listen more than once. Don't just listen one time. Listen 2, 3, or even more times. The first time you listen, your brain is just trying to catch the sounds and get used to the speaker's voice, speed, and accent. It's okay if you only understand a little or just a few words. But the second time, your brain is ready because it already knows what's coming. This time, you will hear and understand more. You'll catch new words, hear the rhythm, and notice how the speaker connects words together. By the third time, you might even notice a small detail you missed before, like a particular word, a funny expression, or a feeling in the speaker's voice. Real listening happens little by little, layer by layer. Think about music. The first time you hear a song, it's okay, but after hearing it many times, you start to sing along, remember the words, and feel the music. English is the same. So, don't worry if you don't understand everything on the first listen. That's completely normal and natural. Good listeners listen more than once. They repeat the audio, pause, and listen again. You can do the same with this podcast. Listen once, then again, and then again. Each time, your understanding and confidence will grow, and your brain will get stronger. Remember, one time is not enough. 2 or 3 times is much better. Technique number 4 is to use context to guess new words. Context refers to the other words around the new word, as well as the story or feeling in the sentence. When you encounter a word you don't know, look at the words that come before and after it. Also, think about the conversation as a whole. What is the speaker talking about? Let's see how this works. If you hear, "I was starving, so I ate 3 sandwiches," you might not know starving. However, because the person ate 3 sandwiches, you can guess that starving means very, very hungry, which is exactly right. You understood the word even though you didn't know it beforehand, all by using the context. Here's another example. We had to cancel the picnic because it started pouring. Maybe pouring is a new word for you, but you know they had to cancel a picnic. From that, you can deduce that pouring probably means heavy rain or raining a lot. You didn't need a dictionary. You just needed to think about the situation and the context. This is how native speakers do it too. Even in your own language, you often guess the meaning of words from context. So, the next time you hear a new word, don't stop or panic. Look at the sentence, listen to the speaker's tone, think about the topic, and ask yourself what the word could mean. If it's truly important, you can check it later, but in the moment, just keep going and use the context. Your brain is smart and will help you figure it out. This is how good listeners understand more even when some words are unfamiliar. Finally, for our fifth technique is don't multitask. Stay focused. Multitasking means trying to do two or more things at the same time. This could be listening to English while checking your phone, watching a video while cooking, or playing English audio while writing an email. While this may sound like a good way to save time, it's not effective for learning. When you multitask, your brain can't focus completely, and you end up listening carelessly, missing words, and forgetting what you heard. Learning a language, especially, requires your brain's full attention. Instead, you should dedicate a short period of time each day, even just 10 to 15 minutes, to focusing on only one thing, listening carefully. No phone, no distractions, no walking around, just listening. You can even close your eyes or watch the speaker's face if it's a video. The goal is to be fully present. When your brain is focused, you learn faster, understand more, and enjoy the process. Think of it like a conversation with a friend. You wouldn't look at your phone while they're talking to you, because that would be rude. You give them your full attention because you care. Treat English the same way. Give it your time and your focus, even for just a few minutes each day, and it will make a big difference. Remember, don't multitask. Stay focused. That's how good listeners learn deeply. Thank you for joining me today. I'm William, and this is English Talking Today. Keep listening, keep learning, and always believe in yourself. Goodbye for now.
Welcome back, everyone, to English Talking Today. I'm Emily.
And I'm Stefan, broadcasting to you today from sunny New Delhi.
That's right, Stefan. We're excited to dive into a topic that many English learners ask us about: how to practice English effectively when you don't have a regular speaking partner.
It's a common challenge, Emily. Finding someone to consistently practice with can be difficult due to time constraints, different skill levels, or simply not knowing other learners in your area. But the good news is, it's absolutely possible to make significant progress on your own.
Exactly. So today, we're going to explore a range of strategies and techniques you can use to boost your English speaking and overall fluency, all without needing a dedicated partner. Let's start with perhaps the most fundamental aspect: talking to yourself.
It might sound a little strange to some, but it's actually a very powerful tool. Think of it as having a conversation with your inner English speaker.
Absolutely. You can narrate your daily activities, describe what you're doing, thinking, or planning. For example, if you're making breakfast, you can say things like, "Okay, first I'm taking the eggs out of the refrigerator. Now I'm turning on the stove. I need to find a pan."
It's like providing your own live commentary. This helps you to think in English and get comfortable forming sentences spontaneously. You're practicing vocabulary and grammar in a real-life context, even if it's just in your head or spoken aloud in private.
And it doesn't have to be just about describing actions. You can also have imaginary conversations. Pretend you're ordering food at a restaurant, asking for directions, or chatting with a new acquaintance.
That's a great idea, Emily. You can even create scenarios based on topics you're currently learning. If you're studying vocabulary related to travel, imagine you're at an airport, checking in for a flight, or asking about local attractions.
Another fantastic technique is to think in English. Try to switch your internal monologue from your native language to English as much as possible throughout the day.
This takes practice, but it's incredibly effective in building fluency. At first, you might find yourself translating a lot, but over time, you'll start to think directly in English. If you encounter a word you don't know, make a mental note to look it up later.
Exactly. And don't get discouraged if you slip back into your native language occasionally. Just gently bring your thoughts back to English. The more you practice, the easier it will become.
Moving on, let's talk about using resources around you. One excellent way to immerse yourself in English is through audio and visual materials.
Yes! Podcasts, for example, are fantastic. There are podcasts for every interest level and topic imaginable, and you can listen to them anytime, anywhere.
And for learners, there are many podcasts specifically designed for English language development, often spoken at a slower pace and with clear explanations. We hope our podcast, English Talking Today, is one of those resources for you.
Smiling, we certainly hope so. Another great audio resource is audiobooks. Listening to stories in English can significantly improve your vocabulary, pronunciation, and understanding of sentence structure.
And don't forget about music. Listening to English songs and trying to understand the lyrics can be a fun and engaging way to learn. You can even look up the lyrics and sing along.
On the visual side, movies and TV shows are invaluable. Watching them in English with subtitles, initially, perhaps in your native language, then in English, can help you learn new vocabulary and expressions in context. You also get to see body language and facial expressions, which add another layer of understanding.
Just be mindful of the accents and the speed of speech. You might want to start with content that is spoken more clearly and at a moderate pace. Cartoons and some sitcoms can be good starting points.
Absolutely. And don't just passively watch. Pay attention to new words and phrases and try to understand how they are used in the conversation. You can even pause and repeat lines to practice your pronunciation.
Another powerful tool is to use language learning apps and websites. Many of these platforms offer interactive exercises that focus on speaking practice through voice recognition technology.
Yes, these apps can be great for practicing pronunciation and getting immediate feedback. Some even have features where you can record yourself speaking and compare it to a native speaker.
And there are also online communities and forums where you can connect with other English learners from around the world. While this isn't exactly practicing with a dedicated partner, it provides opportunities to communicate in English through writing and sometimes even voice chat.
That's a good point, Stefan. Even written communication can improve your overall English skills and build your confidence. Engaging in discussions and asking questions in English online is valuable practice.
Now, let's talk about incorporating English into your hobbies and interests. This can make practicing more enjoyable and relevant to your life.
That's a fantastic suggestion. If you enjoy cooking, try following English recipes. This exposes you to new vocabulary related to food and cooking.
Or if you're into sports, read articles or watch documentaries about your favorite teams and players in English. You'll naturally pick up new words and phrases related to that specific field.
If you like reading, challenge yourself to read English books, magazines, or news articles. Start with something that is at your current level and gradually work your way up to more complex material.
And if you're a fan of video games, try playing games that require you to communicate with other players in English. This can be a fun and immersive way to practice speaking in real time.
The key is to find activities you already enjoy and then find ways to engage with them in English. This makes the learning process feel less like a chore and more like a natural part of your life.
Another often overlooked technique is to record yourself speaking English. This can be a bit daunting at first, but it's incredibly helpful for identifying areas where you can improve.
It's true. When you hear yourself speak, you might notice pronunciation errors or awkward phrasing that you weren't aware of before.
Don't be too critical of yourself, though. The goal is to identify areas for improvement, not to feel discouraged. You can then focus on practicing those specific sounds or sentence structures.
And it's also a great way to track your progress over time. You can compare recordings from a few months ago to your current recordings and see how much you've improved.
Now let's discuss some more structured ways to practice on your own. One effective method is to use English learning textbooks or workbooks.
Yes, these resources often provide exercises and activities that you can do independently, focusing on different aspects of the language like grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation.
You can also find online exercises and quizzes that offer instant feedback, helping you to identify your strengths and weaknesses.
Another structured approach is to follow a language learning curriculum or plan. This could involve setting specific goals for yourself, such as learning a certain number of new words each week or completing a particular online course.
Having a clear plan can help you stay motivated and focused on your learning journey, even when you're practicing independently.
Let's also talk about the importance of active recall and spaced repetition. These are powerful learning techniques that can significantly boost your vocabulary retention and fluency.
Active recall involves trying to remember information without looking at notes or resources. For example, after learning a new word, try to use it in a sentence later in the day without checking its definition.
Spaced repetition involves reviewing learned material at increasing intervals. There are many apps and tools that use spaced repetition algorithms to help you review vocabulary and grammar effectively.
These techniques help to move information from your short-term memory to your long-term memory, making it easier to access and use when you're speaking.
Now, Stefan, let's address a question that some learners might have. Can you really achieve fluency without ever speaking to another person?
That's a very important question, Emily. While it's absolutely possible to make significant progress on your own in terms of vocabulary, grammar, and even pronunciation through the methods we've discussed, true fluency often involves the ability to communicate effectively and spontaneously with others.
Exactly. Real-world conversations involve active listening, responding to unexpected questions, and navigating the nuances of social interaction. These are skills that are best developed through actual conversations with other speakers.
However, if you don't currently have a speaking partner, all the solo practice techniques we've talked about are crucial building blocks. They help you develop the foundational skills and confidence you need to eventually engage in conversations.
Think of it like this. Solo practice is like rehearsing for a play. You can learn your lines and practice your delivery on your own, but the real performance happens when you interact with the other actors and the audience.
So, while practicing alone is invaluable, it's also important to seek out opportunities to speak with others whenever possible. This could be through online language exchange platforms, local conversation groups, or even just striking up conversations with English speakers you encounter in your daily life.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Making mistakes is a natural part of the learning process. It's how you identify areas where you need to improve. The goal is to communicate effectively, not to be perfect.
That's excellent advice, Emily. Embrace the mistakes, learn from them, and keep practicing. Every effort you make, whether it's talking to yourself, listening to a podcast, or reading an English book, is moving you closer to your language learning goals.
So, to summarize our discussion today, remember that you don't need a dedicated partner to practice English effectively. There are many powerful techniques you can use on your own, including talking to yourself, thinking in English, immersing yourself in English audio and visual materials, using language learning apps, incorporating English into your hobbies, recording yourself speaking, using structured learning resources, and employing active recall and spaced repetition.
And while solo practice is crucial, don't forget the importance of eventually seeking out opportunities to speak with others to further develop your fluency and communication skills.
Thank you so much for tuning in to English Talking today. We hope you found these tips helpful.
Happy practicing, everyone. And we look forward to speaking with you again in our next episode.
Bye for now.
Goodbye.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to English Talking today. I'm Emily.
And I'm Stefan. Today, we're talking about something that so many of you have asked us about, confidence. We've heard countless stories from people who've studied English for years, sometimes even a decade, but still feel frozen when it's time to speak.
That's right. I remember a friend of mine, let's call her Anna. She was brilliant. She knew grammar inside and out, and her writing was perfect. But whenever a native speaker talked to her, her mind just went blank. She'd freeze up, and all those years of study would just disappear. She'd get so frustrated and think, what's wrong with me?
It's such a common story, Emily. And that feeling of the mind going blank is exactly what we want to address today. We're going to challenge a lot of what you might have been taught about learning English. We believe that learning to speak English isn't about just memorizing grammar rules or lists of vocabulary. It's about building confidence and making speaking a natural habit.
Exactly. We're talking about a confidence-first approach. The traditional classroom model often puts a huge emphasis on correctness. You're afraid of making a mistake in front of your teacher or classmates, so you don't speak at all. But real life isn't a classroom. You need to create a safe space for yourself, a place where you can practice without fear of judgment, pressure, or feeling like you've failed.
And that brings us to the first section of our chat today, debunking the myths. We want to tackle some of the biggest ideas that hold people back from speaking.
Let's start with myth number 1, the talent myth. So many people think that speaking English well is some kind of special gift. They look at someone who is fluent and think, oh, they're just naturally good at languages.
Right. They think they weren't born with the language gene. But that's just not true. Speaking English is not a special talent. It's a skill. Just like learning to ride a bike or play a guitar, it's something anyone can develop. It doesn't matter your age, where you live, or what your job is. The key is consistent practice.
And that's a huge point. It's about effort, not innate ability. Now, what about myth number 2, The vocabulary myth. I hear this one all the time. I can't speak English because I don't know enough words.
This is a big one. People get stuck because they think they need to know 100,000 words before they can have a conversation. But that's a lie. Think about it. How many words do you really use in your native language on a daily basis? You don't use every word in the dictionary. You just need a small, useful set of words and, more importantly, phrases. You don't need a huge vocabulary to start connecting with people. You just need enough to express yourself and get your message across.
A perfect example is something as simple as I'm hungry. You don't need to know the word for ravenous or famished to get your point across. You just need those two simple words. And that leads us to myth number 3, the perfection myth. This is probably the biggest roadblock for most people. The idea that you have to speak perfectly to be understood.
This one is so destructive. People are terrified of making a mistake, of having the wrong grammar or using the wrong word. They view a mistake as a failure. But we need to reframe this completely. A mistake isn't a failure. It's an essential part of the learning process. Think about a baby learning to walk. They don't just stand up and start running. They fall down 100 times. Every time they fall, they learn something about balance, about their body. They don't stop walking because they fell. And you shouldn't stop speaking because you made a mistake.
That's a great analogy. It's the same with learning to ride a bike. You're going to wobble, you're going to fall, you might scrape your knee. But every mistake helps you get better. Progress is messy and imperfect. You just have to embrace that messiness.
Now, here's myth number 4, the time myth. This is where people say, I'm too busy. I don't have time to study English for 2 hours a day.
Yeah, they think they need to dedicate huge blocks of time to sit down with a textbook. But that's just not how language is learned in real life. We want you to think about how you can integrate English into your daily life. You don't need a lot of time. Even small, 10-minute bursts are incredibly powerful.
Absolutely. You can talk to yourself while you're cooking dinner. You can describe the vegetables you're chopping or the steps you're taking. You can repeat sentences you hear on a podcast during your commute. The key is consistency, not long study sessions.
And the last myth we want to tackle is myth number 5, the partner myth. People often say, I can't practice because I don't have a partner to speak with.
This is a really common one, and while it's great to have a partner, it's not a requirement. Self-practice is a powerful tool. You can talk to yourself, you can narrate your day, you can imagine a conversation. It might feel silly at first, but it's one of the best ways to get comfortable hearing your own voice in English and to build that muscle memory for speaking.
Exactly. Okay, so we've debunked the myths. Now let's move on to the core of our approach, the 5 pillars of a confidence-first practice. These are 5 simple, actionable strategies you can start using today.
Let's start with pillar 1, active listening and repetition. This is more than just hearing English. It's about actively listening to how people speak. You need to train your mouth and brain to work together.
So, here's how you do it. Find a short audio clip, maybe a snippet from a podcast, a movie, or a song. Listen to one sentence at a time. Then, pause and repeat it out loud. Don't just repeat the words. Try to copy the rhythm, the tone, and the sound of the speaker. This technique is called shadowing, and it's so powerful. It helps you get the feel of the language.
The second pillar is the daily speak out loud habit. This is the practical application of what we just talked about. The goal is to get comfortable with the sound of your own voice in English. You can do this in so many simple ways. Narrate your actions. For example, I am opening the refrigerator. I am taking out the milk. Now I'm pouring it into a glass.
You can also describe your surroundings. Look around the room you're in and describe the objects you see out loud. The chair is brown. There's a book on the table. The window is open. It feels a little weird at first, but it makes speaking a daily habit, not a special event.
And our third pillar is the phrase-based approach. We talked about this a little bit when we debunked the myths. Instead of learning individual words, learn full, useful phrases. It's much more efficient.
Absolutely. Think about what you need to say in a real-life situation. If you're going to order coffee, learn the phrase, "Can I get a coffee, please?" Not just the words coffee and please. If you're greeting someone, learn, "How's it going?" or "What have you been up to?" These are the phrases you'll actually use.
The fourth pillar is all about mindset, embracing imperfection. We already talked about this, but it's so important it deserves its own pillar. You have to let go of the fear of judgment.
This is where you need to be kind to yourself. When you make a mistake, don't get frustrated. See it as a learning opportunity. If you say something incorrectly, just try to correct it and move on. The person you're talking to will understand. They are not judging you. They're just happy you are trying.
And finally, our fifth pillar is connecting to the real world. Your goal is to move beyond practice and into real-life use. Find ways to engage with English that are fun and interesting for you.
So, if you love to cook, find an English-speaking cooking channel on YouTube. If you like video games, find an online community where people play and talk in English. The key is to connect with people and things you care about. English becomes a tool for something you already love to do.
And that brings us to the end of our conversation today. The secret to fluency isn't just knowing these tips, it's doing them consistently. Think of it like brushing your teeth. It's a small, daily habit that you do without thinking. Over time, these small habits build on each other and become automatic.
You are capable of speaking English. The journey is a marathon, not a race. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to start. The key is to keep going, to be kind to yourself, and to enjoy the process of unlocking your voice.
That's right. So, pick one of these pillars and start today. Just one small step.
Thank you for joining us on English Talking today. We'll see you next time.
Bye for now.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to English Talking today. I'm Emily.
And I'm Stefan. We're so happy you're here with us today on our YouTube channel.
That's right. Today, we have a really fun and important topic for all our A1 English learners. We're going to talk about something we all do every single day.
Exactly. We're going to talk about our daily routine. It's a great way to learn new words and phrases that you can use every day.
So, if you're just starting to learn English, this episode is perfect for you. We'll go through our day, from when we wake up until we go to sleep.
We'll break it down into easy parts: morning, workday, evening, and bedtime.
Let's start with the morning, Stefan. What's the first thing you do when your day begins?
The morning. Well, the very first thing is I wake up. Sometimes it's because of my alarm clock. Sometimes the sun in Phnom Penh is already very bright.
Yes, the sun here can be quite strong. After you wake up, what's next?
After I wake up, I usually get out of bed. It's not always easy, especially on a Monday.
I know that feeling. So, you wake up, then you get out of bed. Then what?
Then I go to the bathroom. Everyone needs to do that, right?
Absolutely. And in the bathroom, what do you do first?
First, I brush my teeth. It's important to have fresh breath.
Very important. And then?
Then I wash my face with some cool water. It helps me feel more awake.
That's a good tip. So, after the bathroom, where do you go?
I usually go to the kitchen. I need my coffee.
Yes, coffee is a big part of many people's morning routine. Do you make breakfast, Stefan?
Yes, I usually make breakfast. Sometimes it's simple, like toast and eggs. sometimes just fruit.
Sounds good. And then, of course, you have breakfast.
Exactly. After I have breakfast, I usually get dressed. I choose my clothes for the day.
Me too. And then, before you leave the house?
I put on my shoes. And then, I'm ready to leave the house for work.
Great. So, let's quickly review the morning routine words for our listeners. Wake up, get out of bed, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, wash my face, go to the kitchen, make breakfast, have breakfast, get dressed, put on shoes, and leave the house.
Excellent. Now let's talk about the workday. Emily, what do you usually do when you get to work?
Well, first I arrive at the office. Then I sit at my desk.
Yes, that's where most of us start. And what kind of work do you do?
I mostly work on my computer. I do a lot of different things there.
Like what?
I answer emails from our listeners and team. I also write reports sometimes.
Ah, so lots of writing. Do you have meetings?
Yes, I often have meetings with our team to plan new episodes and ideas.
Like this one. For me, I also work on my computer. I write articles for our website, and sometimes I prepare lessons for our online students.
That's right. And we both, of course, have lunch during the day.
Yes, lunch is important. Sometimes I bring food from home. Sometimes I go to a local restaurant here in Phnom Penh. The food here is amazing.
It really is. So, for the workday, we have sit at my desk, work on my computer, answer emails, write reports, have meetings, write articles, prepare lessons, and have lunch.
Good job, everyone. Now, let's move on to the evening routine. Emily, what do you do after you finish work?
After work, I usually go home. I'm happy to be home.
Me too. What's the first thing you do when you get home?
Often, I just want to relax on the sofa for a bit.
Yes, it's good to rest after a long day. Do you watch TV?
Sometimes. Or I listen to music. Then, usually, I need to cook dinner.
Me too. What do you like to cook?
I enjoy cooking simple, healthy meals. After dinner, someone has to wash the dishes, right?
Yes, that's not my favorite part, but it has to be done. What else do you do in the evening?
Sometimes I read a book. I love to read before bed.
That's a nice, quiet activity. Do you talk to your family or friends?
Yes, I often call my family or video chat with friends who live far away. Sometimes, if the weather is nice, I go for a walk around my neighborhood in Phnom Penh.
That's a great way to get some fresh air. I also like to listen to music in the evenings. It helps me relax.
So, for the evening routine, we learned go home, relax on the sofa, watch TV, cook dinner, wash the dishes, read a book, talk to my family or friends, go for a walk, and listen to music.
Excellent. Now, the final part of our day, bedtime routine. Emily, what do you do before you go to sleep?
Well, I already brushed my teeth in the morning, but I also brush my teeth again before bed. It's important for healthy teeth.
Absolutely. And after that?
Then I usually just go to bed. Sometimes I read a little bit more, or just close my eyes and think about my day.
Simple and effective. So, for bedtime, it's just brush my teeth and go to bed.
That's right. So, listeners, we just went through a whole day talking about our routines from morning to night.
We've covered so many useful verbs and phrases today. We hope you found them helpful.
Now, it's your turn. We really encourage you to practice these new words and phrases.
Yes, the best way to learn is to use them. You can talk about your own day using these words.
Don't worry about making mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes when they are learning a new language. It's part of the process.
You can also write down your own routine in English. Write about what you do in the morning, during the day, in the evening, and before bed.
And if you have a friend who is also learning English, you can practice talking about your routines together.
That's a great idea for practice. The more you use these words, the easier they will become.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of English Talking Today. Learning about daily routines is a fantastic step for A1 English learners.
Before we go, we have a few things to ask you, our wonderful listeners.
First, please subscribe to our channel English Talking Today on YouTube. That way you won't miss any new episodes.
Also, if you like this episode, please share it with your friends who are learning English. It helps us a lot.
And finally, we love to hear from you. Please leave comments below the video. Tell us about your daily routine. What do you do in the morning? What do you do in the evening?
Or if you have any questions about the words we used today, ask us. We'd love to answer them.
We read all your comments, and your feedback helps us make better videos for you.
So, thank you again for joining us today. We had a great time talking about our daily routines.
And we hope you feel more confident talking about yours. Keep practicing, and we'll see you next time on English Talking Today.
Bye for now.
Goodbye, everyone. Welcome back, English learners, to English Talking Today. I'm Emily.
And I'm Stefan. And today, we've got a fantastic topic that I think is on a lot of people's minds. How to significantly improve your English listening skills in just 3 months.
That's right, Stefan. It's a bold claim, but we truly believe it's achievable with the right strategies and dedication. We hear from so many of you who feel stuck with your listening, even if your reading and speaking are improving.
Absolutely. It's a common bottleneck. You can read a complex article. You can even hold a basic conversation, but then you put on a movie or try to understand a native speaker in a fast-paced conversation, and it's like, what just happened?
Exactly. It feels like everyone else is speaking at warp speed, and your brain just can't keep up. So, today we're going to break down a 3-month plan that's actionable, realistic, and hopefully very motivating for all of you.
Let's dive right in. So, month 1, the foundation. What's our main goal here, Emily?
In month 1, our goal is to build a solid, consistent habit of exposure and to start tuning your ear to the rhythms and sounds of English. We're not aiming for perfection yet. We're aiming for familiarity and consistency.
That's key, consistency over intensity, especially at the beginning. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to listen to incredibly complex material too early, and then getting discouraged.
Precisely. So, our first strategy for month 1 is controlled immersion with familiar topics. This means choosing audio and video content where you already have some background knowledge or interest. Think about things you enjoy in your native language.
Great point. If you love cooking shows in Khmer or French, find an English cooking show. If you're into gaming, find English gaming commentary. The familiarity of the topic will help bridge the gap when the language itself is still challenging.
Exactly. And focus on content that is slightly above your current comprehension level, but not overwhelmingly so. If you understand 50 to 60% without subtitles, that's a good starting point. You want to be challenged, but not drowned.
Definitely. Visuals are like training wheels for your listening. They give your brain extra clues, which reduces the cognitive load of just trying to decode sounds.
For month 1, I'd suggest starting with podcasts designed for English learners, YouTube channels with clear speaking, or even short documentaries with visual support. The visuals are a huge help because they provide context.
Oh, this is a game changer. It helps you connect the sounds you're hearing with the words you're reading. You'll start to notice how words blend together, how intonation works, and even how some words are reduced or sound different than you expect.
And here's a crucial technique for month 1, active listening with transcripts. Try to find content that offers transcripts. Listen once without the transcript, just trying to get the gist. Then, listen a second time, following along with the transcript.
How much time should people dedicate to this in month 1?
Absolutely. And after that, listen a third time without the transcript and see how much more you understand. This cycle of listen, read, listen is incredibly powerful for cementing those connections.
Agreed. Short, regular bursts are more effective for brain training. It's like building muscle. You need consistent effort.
I'd say aim for at least 30 minutes to an hour of focused listening every single day. Consistency is more important than marathon sessions. Better to do 30 minutes daily than 3 hours once a week.
Perfect. Now let's move into month 2. Building fluency and speed. By now, you've built some consistency. Your ear is starting to get used to English sounds. What's next?
So, to recap month 1, controlled immersion with familiar topics and active listening with transcripts, aiming for 30 to 60 minutes daily.
This is where it gets exciting.
In month 2, we want to gradually increase the difficulty and the pace. We're going to start weaning ourselves off the heavy reliance on transcripts and introduce more authentic, native-level content.
So if you're a fan of, say, a particular Netflix series, maybe rewatch a few episodes in English, but this time, try to watch without subtitles first.
It really is. Our first strategy here is gradual transition to authentic content. Start exploring content created for native speakers, but still within your interest areas. Think about news podcasts, YouTube channels that aren't specifically for learners, or even short episodes of TV shows you've already seen in your native language.
And what about the active listening approach from month 1? Does that still apply?
Exactly. Or with English subtitles, if that's too big a jump. The key is to start reducing the support.
So, before you listen, you might set a goal. Like, I'm going to listen to this news segment and try to identify the main event, who the key players are, and what the outcome was.
It evolves. Now, we introduce focused listening for key information. Instead of trying to understand every single word, which can be exhausting and demotivating, we're training ourselves to pick out the main ideas, the speaker's mood, and specific details.
And this is where learning about connected speech becomes really important. What is connected speech, Emily?
Precisely. This teaches your brain to filter and prioritize information, which is what native speakers do naturally. We don't consciously process every single word. We're looking for meaning.
It's why sometimes you know all the individual words, but when they're spoken together, it sounds like one long, unintelligible word.
Right? So, in month 2, pay conscious attention to these phenomena. When you do use transcripts, highlight or note down examples of connected speech you hear. There are also fantastic YouTube channels and resources dedicated to teaching connected speech.
So, for example, what are you doing? Often sounds like, what you doing? Or, I don't know, becomes, I dunno.
Exactly. The more you expose yourself to it and actively notice it, the more your brain will begin to recognize these patterns automatically.
How much listening time now?
I'd say maintain that 30 to 60 minutes daily, but try to push towards the upper end if you can. And crucially, mix it up. Don't just stick to one type of content. Vary your sources to get exposed to different accents, speaking speeds, and vocabulary.
Excellent. So, month 2 is about gradual transition to authentic content, focused listening for key information, and actively noticing connected speech.
Spot on. And now, for the final push, month 3, mastering nuance and real-world application. This is where everything starts to click.
This is where we go from understanding to truly comprehending.
Exactly. Our first strategy for month 3 is immersion with minimal support. This means diving into content with no subtitles or only using them as a last resort. Watch movies, TV shows, listen to podcasts, and even try listening to English radio or audiobooks.
This is where the real growth happens. You're forcing your brain to process everything without a safety net, which is how it works in real-life conversations.
Yes. And don't be afraid to rewind if you miss something important, but try not to hit pause too often. Try to train your brain to keep up with the flow.
And a really important technique for month 3 is listening for intonation and stress. This is how you pick up on sarcasm, emotion, and emphasis.
Absolutely. It's not just what people say, but how they say it. A simple phrase like, "Oh really?" can mean vastly different things depending on the intonation.
A flat, "Oh really?" might be genuine interest, but a sarcastic, drawn-out, "Oh really?" clearly conveys disbelief.
Precisely. In month 3, start actively noticing this. Pay attention to which words speakers emphasize, where their voice goes up or down, and how that impacts the meaning. It adds so much depth to your comprehension.
And another key strategy for month 3, to bring it all together, is shadowing and mimicry. What is shadowing?
Shadowing is where you listen to a short piece of audio, maybe a sentence or two, and then immediately try to repeat it, mimicking the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation as closely as possible.
So, you're essentially becoming an echo.
Exactly. It trains your mouth and your ear simultaneously. It helps you internalize those connected speech patterns and intonation because you're physically producing them.
This is fantastic for both listening and speaking, because it helps you bridge the gap between what you hear and what you can produce yourself.
You can do this with short clips from podcasts, news reports, or even just sentences from a YouTube video. Start with very short segments, and as you get more comfortable, you can try shadowing longer phrases.
And how much listening now?
Now, we're aiming for a solid hour or more daily. And importantly, incorporate all the strategies we've discussed. Use authentic content, listen for key information, pay attention to connected speech, intonation, and actively practice shadowing.
Month 1. The foundation. Build consistent exposure with familiar, slightly above level content, and use active listening with transcripts.
We've covered a lot, Stefan. To summarize this 3-month journey.
Don't be afraid of not understanding everything. Asterisk, that's part of the process. Your brain needs to get comfortable with ambiguity.
Month 2, building fluency and speed. Gradually transition to authentic content. Focus on listening for key information and pay conscious attention to connected speech.
Don't compare your progress to others. Everyone learns at their own pace. Focus on your own growth.
Month 3, mastering nuance and real-world application. Immerse yourself with minimal support. Listen for intonation and stress, and actively practice shadowing and mimicry.
It truly does. It enhances your speaking, your confidence, and your overall ability to connect with people.
And throughout all of this, remember a few key principles. Patience is crucial. You won't go from 0 to perfect in 3 months, but you will see massive improvement if you stick with it.
Yes, please let us know in the comments below if you're going to try this plan, and what content you're choosing to listen to. We love to hear from you.
Make it enjoyable. If you hate what you're listening to, you won't stick with it. Find topics and content that genuinely interest you.
Thanks so much for joining us today. Keep listening, keep learning.
Absolutely. And remember, the goal isn't just to understand English. It's to be able to participate fully in the English-speaking world. Better listening opens up so many doors. We really hope this 3-month plan gives you a clear roadmap to dramatically improve your English listening skills. We're excited to hear about your progress. And if you found this episode helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to English Talking Today, and share it with anyone who's struggling with their English listening. We'll see you next time on English Talking Today.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to English Talking Today. My name is Mary.
And I'm Steven.
And today, we're diving into a question we get all the time. What does my English level mean? It can be a little confusing, right? You hear about A1, B2, C1. What do all those letters and numbers really stand for?
Exactly. And the most important thing to understand right away is that your English level isn't just about how many grammar rules you know or how many words are in your vocabulary. It's about how you can use the language in the real world.
That's so true. We're talking about things like introducing yourself, ordering a coffee, telling a story about your weekend, or even just asking for directions. It's all about practical application. You might be a whiz at grammar rules on a test, but if you can't have a simple conversation, your real-world level might be different.
Absolutely. And something else to remember is that your skills might be stronger in some areas than in others. You might be fantastic at listening and understanding conversations, but maybe speaking is a bit more difficult for you. Or maybe you love reading, but writing feels like a struggle. That's completely normal. Most people have a mix of skills.
So, let's break down the common levels that people talk about. The most widely used system is the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, or CFR. It's a great way to think about proficiency. It breaks things down into 3 main categories: beginner, intermediate, and advanced.
Let's start with the beginner levels, which are A1 and A2. If you're at this level, you can handle very basic, everyday tasks. You can introduce yourself, say your name, and ask simple questions like, where is the train station, or what's your job? You can talk about familiar topics like your family, your house, or your daily routine, but it's usually with simple sentences.
Right. You're building a foundation, learning the basic building blocks of the language. Next up, we have intermediate, which includes B1 and B2. This is where most people really start to feel a shift. At these levels, you can handle most common conversations and situations. You can tell a story, give your opinion on a topic, or describe your dreams and ambitions. You can understand a lot of what you hear and read, even if you don't know every single word.
B1 is about being able to get by and handle typical situations, while B2 is about becoming more comfortable and fluent. If you're B2, you can participate in a professional discussion in your field, or you can watch a TV show and understand the main points. It's a huge step.
And then we have the advanced levels, C1 and C2. If you're at this level, you're using English fluently and comfortably. You can express complex ideas without searching for words. You can participate in sophisticated discussions and understand nuanced topics like jokes, sarcasm, or idioms that are difficult for people at lower levels. At C2, you're essentially at a native-like level. You can use the language in complex, academic, or professional situations with ease.
So, think of it as a journey. You start with a few tools in your toolbox at A1, and by the time you reach C2, your toolbox is completely full, and you can build just about anything you want with the language.
So, how do you figure out where you're on that journey? A lot of people ask us how they can check their level.
The most official way is by taking a formal exam. If you need a certificate for a job or university, exams like the IELTS or TOEFL are the gold standard. They give you a very precise score that places you in a specific CFAR level.
But you don't have to pay for an official test to get an idea of your level. There are tons of free online placement tests. A quick Google search will show you many options. These tests usually ask you a series of questions and give you a rough idea of your level based on your answers.
And finally, and maybe the most useful way, is through self-assessment. Just think about what you can do comfortably in English. Can you order food at a restaurant without feeling nervous? Can you watch a video or a movie without subtitles and understand the main points? Can you chat with a friend and talk about your weekend plans? These real-world actions tell you a lot more about your level than a multiple-choice grammar test.
Okay, so once you know your level, the next question is always, how can I improve? We've talked about this before, but the number one thing is consistent daily practice. You don't need to study for hours and hours. Just 20 to 30 minutes every single day can make a massive difference.
We love to break it down into the 4 main skills. Let's start with listening. Dedicate 5 to 10 minutes a day to listening to English. You can listen to a podcast like this one or listen to an English song. Try to focus on the lyrics and the meaning. You'll be surprised how much you pick up.
Next, there's speaking. This can feel a little intimidating, but you don't need to find a native speaker to practice with. Just spend 5 minutes describing your day out loud, maybe to yourself in the mirror. You can talk about what you had for breakfast, what you plan to do after work, or just describe the things you see around you. It's all about training your mouth and your brain to produce the language.
Then reading. Spend 5 to 10 minutes reading an article, a news story, or even a short story. Don't worry if you don't know every word. Just try to get the main idea. This builds your vocabulary naturally.
Building on that, let's talk about the cultural context of language. English has different dialects and accents. American English is different from British English, not just in spelling, but in common phrases and idioms. For example, trunk in the US is boot in the UK. Understanding these differences helps you navigate conversations better.
Now let's add a bit more detail to this. A common misconception is that grammar is the most important thing. While it's foundational, fluency is built on communication, not just perfect rules. For instance, a native speaker might say, "I ain't got no money," which is grammatically incorrect but perfectly understood. It's a great example of how language is a living thing.
Vocabulary is more than just memorizing lists. It's about learning words in context. When you read a news article or listen to a podcast, try to guess the meaning of a new word from the surrounding sentences. Then, look it up to confirm. This method helps your brain remember the word and how to use it correctly.
And let's not forget the power of idioms. Idioms are phrases where the meaning isn't obvious from the individual words. Break a leg means good luck, and it's raining cats and dogs means it's raining very heavily. Learning these helps you sound more natural and understand native speakers in everyday conversations.
Another great tip for improving is to set specific, achievable goals. Instead of saying, I want to be fluent, try something like, I will learn 5 new words a week, or I will have a 10-minute conversation with my friend in English every Tuesday. Small, consistent goals lead to big results.
Let's also talk about the importance of intonation and rhythm. The way you stress certain words in a sentence can change its meaning entirely. For instance, saying, I love this, with a positive tone is different from saying it with sarcasm. You can practice this by mimicking actors in a movie or a podcast.
You can also use technology to your advantage. There are many apps and websites with language exchange features where you can connect with people from around the world. You can teach them your language while they help you with English. It's a win-win situation.
Speaking of goals, remember to celebrate your progress. Every time you have a conversation without a hitch or you understand a joke you couldn't before, give yourself a pat on the back. Acknowledging your achievements keeps you motivated.
Remember, learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself. Don't get discouraged if you feel like you're not making progress. Sometimes it feels like you're in a plateau, but you're still building a strong foundation.
The best way to learn is by doing. Don't be afraid to try using new words and phrases you learn. Even if you make a mistake, it's a learning experience. Think of it like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
It's all about making English a part of your life, not just a subject you study.
Finally, immerse yourself in English media. Change the language settings on your phone, watch movies and TV shows with English subtitles or without, and listen to English music. The more you expose yourself to the language in real-life contexts, the faster you'll improve.
That's a fantastic point. Another thing to consider is the subtle differences between words that seem similar. For example, the difference between look, see, and watch. You look at something with intention, you see something passively, and you watch something for a period of time, like a movie. Understanding these nuances makes your English much more precise.
Well said, Emily. Now let's get into some more advanced concepts for those of you who are ready to take it to the next level. Did you know that the word literally is now commonly used to mean figuratively? This drives some people crazy, but it shows how language evolves. Dictionaries have even added this new, opposite meaning.
For those aiming for C1 or C2, a key skill is understanding collocations. These are words that commonly go together. For example, we say, make a decision, not do a decision, or heavy rain, not strong rain. The right collocation makes your English sound much more natural. You can learn these by noticing them when you read or listen.
Absolutely. And let's not forget phrasal verbs. These are a huge part of everyday English. A phrasal verb is a verb combined with a preposition or adverb like give up, look for, or take off. The meaning is often different from the individual words, so you have to learn them as a unit. It can be tricky, but it's essential for fluency.
And finally, writing. You can spend 5 minutes writing a few sentences in a journal. You can write about your day, your plans for the weekend, or even just a list of things you need to do. If you have a friend who speaks English, you can even chat with them online. It's a low-pressure way to practice.
And for academic or professional settings, mastering discourse markers is crucial. These are words and phrases that connect ideas and help the listener follow your train of thought. Words like however, therefore, in addition, and on the other hand. They signal relationships between ideas, making your speech and writing more coherent.
Another great way to improve is by using a thesaurus, but not just to find synonyms. Use it to find words with slightly different connotations. Happy is a good word, but joyful or ecstatic express different levels of emotion. This adds richness and depth to your language.
We often get asked about the best resources. Beyond the apps we mentioned, think about using authentic materials. Read news articles from BBC or the New York Times. Watch TED Talks on topics you find interesting. The language is natural and you're learning about something new at the same time.
Remember the power of a language journal. Dedicate a notebook to English. You can write down new words and phrases, practice writing short paragraphs, or even just jot down your thoughts in English. The act of writing solidifies what you've learned in your mind.
For speaking practice, don't underestimate the power of shadowing. This is a technique where you listen to a native speaker and immediately repeat what they say. It helps you practice pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation without worrying about creating your own sentences. It's a fantastic drill for your mouth muscles.
It's also important to be aware of the different registers of English. You'll speak differently with a friend, informal, than you would with your boss, formal. Recognizing the context and adjusting your language accordingly is a sign of advanced proficiency.
Ultimately, remember that language is a tool for connection. The goal isn't to be perfect, but to be effective. Every new word you learn, every conversation you have, and every mistake you make is a step forward.
That's all we have for today. Thanks for tuning in to English Talking Today.
We'll see you in the next one.
Hello everyone and welcome back to English Talking Today. I'm Mary.
And I'm Steven. It's great to be back with all of you for another exciting episode designed to help you boost your English skill.
Absolutely, Steven. And today, we're diving into a topic that affects everyone, everywhere, every single day. How we get around. Transportation.
It's such a fundamental part of daily life, isn't it? Whether you're commuting to work, exploring a new city, or just popping down to the local market, choosing how you travel is a big decision. And it's a fantastic topic for English learners because there's so much practical vocabulary and so many useful phrases involved.
Exactly. So, let's kick things off by just thinking about all the different ways people move around a city or town. Steven, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about urban transportation?
Well, here in Phnom Penh, the first thing that often comes to mind is the sheer variety. You see everything. But globally, I think the bus is probably one of the most common methods. Most cities have an extensive bus network.
Definitely. The bus is often a go-to for many. It's relatively cheap, and you can usually get pretty close to your destination. Though, a big downside, especially in a busy city like Phnom Penh, is traffic.
Oh, the traffic. That's a whole episode in itself, isn't it? Buses can be quite slow because they get stuck in congestion. You know, that time when all the cars, motorbikes, and tuk-tuks are barely moving? That's heavy traffic.
Yeah, and speaking of public transport, in many larger cities around the world, the subway or the metro or the underground, depending on where you are, is incredibly popular.
The subway. Now that's a game changer for speed. It's usually much faster than a bus because it avoids all the street-level traffic. And often, it's very punctual. It runs on time.
I mean, think of places like Tokyo or London. Their subways are incredibly efficient. You can get across the city in no time.
And they're generally very cheap too, especially compared to taking a taxi. However, there's a big but there, isn't there?
There is rush hour.
You hit the nail on the head, Mary. During rush hour, those peak times when everyone is going to or from work, usually early morning and late afternoon, the subway can get incredibly crowded. And when I say crowded, I mean absolutely packed. Sometimes you can barely move.
Oh, I've had those experiences, being squashed like a sardine in a can. Not the most pleasant way to travel, but efficient nonetheless. And then, of course, there are trains, which often connect different towns or parts of a very spread out city.
Absolutely. Beyond public transport, we have more personal options. Cars, of course, are very popular, offering freedom and convenience, but parking can be a nightmare and fuel costs add up.
And motorbikes. Especially here in Southeast Asia, they are incredibly prevalent. In Vietnam, for instance, motorbikes are practically the lifeblood of the city. They're fast, agile, and can weave through traffic.
They certainly can. And then there's the whole world of taxis and ride-sharing apps. Think of Grab here in Southeast Asia or Uber in many other parts of the world. They offer door-to-door service, which is fantastic for convenience.
Yes, you just open the app on your phone, request a ride, and a driver comes to pick you up. It's very easy, but obviously it's more expensive than taking a bus or subway.
Right. And let's not forget about biking. Cycling has seen a huge resurgence in many cities. It's great exercise, environmentally friendly, and can be quite fast in areas with dedicated bike lanes.
I love cycling. It's a wonderful way to see a city and get some fresh air. And then the most basic form of transport, walking. Often overlooked, but for short distances it's healthy and allows you to really experience your surroundings.
Definitely. I try to walk whenever I can. It helps you discover little hidden cafes or interesting shops you'd miss otherwise. And speaking of unique transport, we've mentioned motorbikes in Vietnam, but what about tuk-tuks in Cambodia?
Oh, tuk-tuks are iconic. They're essentially a motor rickshaw, an open-air vehicle that's a fantastic way to get around cities at Southeast Asia or right here in Phnom Penh. They're fun, breezy, and you get a real feel for the city as you go.
And for pure futuristic speed, we have to mention the Shinkansen, the bullet train in Japan. It's just incredible how fast and smooth those trains are. It's a completely different experience from, say, a local bus.
So we've covered quite a few ways to get around. Bus, train, subway, taxi, ride app like Grab or Uber, bike, car, motorbike, walking, tuk-tuks, bullet trains. A truly global overview. Now, let's dig into some of that essential vocabulary and those useful phrases for our English learners.
Perfect. Because knowing how to talk about transport, how to ask for directions, and how to buy tickets is incredibly practical. Let's start with some of the basic nouns we've already used. We have the bus stop. That's where you wait for the bus.
And the train station or subway station. These are the main hubs for trains and subways. You'll hear phrases like, "Excuse me, where is the nearest station?" Or, "How do I get to the central bus station?" These are incredibly useful for tourists or anyone new to a city.
Absolutely. And when you're inside or even looking at schedules, you'll need to know about the fare. That's the price you pay for your ticket. So, how much is the fare is a crucial question.
And once you have your ticket, you'll want to know when does the train leave or when does the next bus arrive. It's all about timing. And we've already touched upon rush hour and how crowded it can get.
Right. And traffic, of course, is a word you'll hear and experience a lot. It describes all the vehicles on the road, and often, when there's too much traffic, you get a traffic jam.
The traffic jam. Okay, so those are some basic terms. Let's talk about some personal travel experiences. Stephen, have you ever had any memorable or perhaps slightly disastrous experiences getting around a new city?
Oh, absolutely, Mary. I remember one time I was in Tokyo and I was so focused on trying to understand the subway map that I completely missed my stop. The train doors closed and I just stood there, staring at the station I was supposed to get off at, slowly disappearing as the train sped away. I had to get off at the next stop and try to figure out how to get back. It was a bit stressful, but it was also a good lesson in paying attention.
Oh, I've been there. It's like a little moment of panic, isn't it? But you know, moments like that are actually great for language practice. You have to ask for help.
That's right. I had to approach a station attendant and ask, "Excuse me, how do I get back to Shinjuku Station?" And you know, people are almost always willing to help. You just have to be brave enough to ask.
Exactly, yeah. I think a lot of English learners are afraid to ask questions because they worry about making a mistake. But native speakers, and people in general, are usually very patient and understanding. And it's a great way to learn. I had a similar experience in London. I was trying to find a specific bus stop, and I was completely lost. I had to ask a few different people for directions, and each one pointed me in a slightly different way until I finally found it. It was a bit of an adventure.
You know, that's another key phrase to remember. How do I get to? It's simple but incredibly useful. You can follow it with a place, like, how do I get to the London Eye? Or, how do I get to the Central Market?
Absolutely, and for our listeners, we hope this episode has given you some useful vocabulary and phrases to help you feel more confident when you're traveling. Remember, don't be afraid to get a little lost sometimes. It's often the best way to discover something new and practice your English.
They might also say something like, "It's about a 10-minute walk from here." That tells you the time it will take to walk there. Very helpful.
So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us on English Talking Today.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more helpful English lessons.
Until next time, keep practicing and happy travels.
Hi everyone. Welcome to English Talking Today, the podcast where we help you practice real English for daily life conversations. I'm Brian.
And I'm Emily. Thanks for joining us again. We're so glad you're here. Whether you're at home, on the train, or out for a walk, today we're going to talk about something that's on everyone's mind: money.
Yes, that's right. Today we're going to imagine a day where you have unlimited money. No need to worry about bills, work, or anything financial. Can you imagine that, Emily?
Wow, that sounds incredible. I'm already smiling just thinking about it. A day without financial pressure, no rushing to check my bank balance. No bills to pay.
Exactly. Today we'll explore what a day with unlimited money might look like. We'll go through the morning, afternoon, and evening, and discuss how life might change if money was no longer an issue.
And don't forget, at the end, we'll have a fun listening and speaking challenge for you. Now, let's get started. Before we dive into a day with unlimited money, let's talk about our current feelings about money.
Good idea. For me, money can be a source of stress, especially when I think about rent and groceries. I always feel like I need to save more.
I understand that feeling completely. For me, money brings both happiness and a lot of anxiety. I feel happy when I can buy something nice for my family, but I get stressed when I think about big future expenses, like buying a house.
Yeah, I know that feeling too. Money can be a great tool, but also a huge burden. Without enough money, sometimes I feel limited in what I can do. I think, oh, I can't do that. It's too expensive.
Exactly. That's the danger. For me, even small money worries like a broken appliance or an unexpected bill make me feel nervous. I keep thinking, how will I pay for this? How will I pay for this?
Oh yes, I get that. But at the same time, I think money helps me feel secure and organized. For example, when I was a student, I always waited until the last minute to pay my tuition, but because of the fear of a late fee, I would make sure to pay it on time. Without that pressure, maybe I never would have.
So, you're a classic last-minute money manager.
Totally. I remember one time I had a big bill due. The deadline was at the end of the month. I waited until the very last day. Can you imagine?
Oh no. Did you pay it on time?
Yes, just in time. I paid it at 11:59 p.m., 1 minute before the deadline.
Wow, that's risky. I could never do that. What about you? Did you pay your bills early or also at the last minute?
You paid it Sunday night.
Oh, I usually pay my bills early because I was afraid of the pressure, but sometimes yes. I also waited too long. I remember one time I had a big expense due on Monday. I told myself I'll pay it on Saturday. Then Saturday came, and I said, I'll pay it on Sunday. And guess what?
I think many listeners understand that feeling. Coffee, panic, typing fast. That's a classic money deadline night.
Exactly. Sunday night, panicking with a lot of coffee. I was typing my credit card information so fast like a robot.
Right? Let's pause here and teach some useful words for our listeners.
Yes. So, money is like two sides of a coin. On one side, it helps us feel secure and allows us to get the things we need. On the other side, it can make us feel nervous and even stressed.
Financial pressure. It means the stress or worry you feel about money. For example, I feel a lot of financial pressure when I think about my bills.
Unlimited money. It means having so much money you never have to worry about it. For example, I wish I had unlimited money to travel the world.
Burden. It means a heavy load or a responsibility that is difficult to handle. For example, the debt became a huge burden for her.
Financial pressure. It means the stress or worry you feel about money. For example, I feel a lot of financial pressure when I think about my bills.
Secure. It means feeling safe and not having to worry. For example, having a savings account makes me feel more secure.
Burden. It means a heavy load or a responsibility that is difficult to handle. For example, the debt became a huge burden for her.
Last minute. It means doing something very late, just before the deadline. For example, I always pay my bills at the last minute.
Secure. It means feeling safe and not having to worry. For example, having a savings account makes me feel more secure.
So listeners, now we want to hear from you. How do you feel about money? Share your answer with us in the comments. We'd love to hear your story.
Last minute. It means doing something very late, just before the deadline. For example, I always pay my bills at the last minute.
First we could wake up slowly. No alarm clock. No phone buzzing at 7 a.m. Oh yes, I could stay in bed for a little longer. Maybe just stretch and relax. I could even lie in bed and look at the ceiling or watch the sunlight, knowing I don't have to rush to a job.
Okay. Now let's imagine the morning if we had unlimited money.
That sounds so nice. Normally we're hurrying, trying to eat fast, get dressed, and leave the house. All because of work and money.
That sounds great. And after a slow way up, we could eat breakfast without hurry. I could enjoy my toast, my coffee, maybe even some fresh pastries from a fancy bakery slowly with no rush.
Oh yes, I would love to watch a beautiful travel video with no rush and maybe check messages slowly or not at all. Just enjoy a peaceful morning.
Exactly. But today, we could take our time, maybe read a little, listen to music, or even watch a short documentary about a place we want to visit.
And maybe we can do a small morning exercise like stretching or yoga. Just 10 minutes slowly without thinking about time or the cost of a gym membership.
That's true. Sometimes when we are busy with work and money worries, we check our phones too much. Today we can ignore them and enjoy our breakfast.
I can imagine the sun shining, birds singing, maybe a beautiful cup of expensive coffee. It would feel so calm and happy.
Yes, that would be nice. And after breakfast, we could go for a short walk or just sit by the window watching the birds. No deadlines, no financial stress, just a relaxed start to the day.
Or we could listen to music and just enjoy ourselves. Maybe even sing a little while planning a big trip around the world.
And maybe we could even make a long, slow cup of tea or coffee and read a book just for fun, not for a work project.
And it's nice to imagine this morning, but it also shows us how stressful money can be, right?
That would be perfect. A dream morning. No pressure, no rush, just time to relax and think about all the amazing things we can do.
All right, let's pause here and teach some useful words or phrases for our listeners.
Money helps us live, but a morning like this shows how good it feels to have a slow start without any financial pressure.
Stretch and relax. It means to move your body gently and feel calm. For example, I could stay in bed for a little longer. Maybe just stretch and relax.
Great idea. Here are some words from our morning. Wake up slowly. It means to get out of bed without hurry. For example, first we could wake up slowly. No alarm clock. No phone buzzing at 7 a.m.
Take your time. It means to do something slowly, not fast. For example, I took my time to drink my coffee.
Take your time. It means to do something slowly, not fast. For example, I took my time to drink my coffee.
Peaceful morning. It means a calm and quiet morning with no stress. For example, it was a peaceful morning.
Peaceful morning. It means a calm and quiet morning with no stress. For example, it was a peaceful morning.
No rush. It means when you do not need to hurry. For example, I could enjoy my toast, my coffee, maybe even pancakes slowly with no rush.
No rush. It means when you do not need to hurry. For example, I could enjoy my toast, my coffee, maybe even pancakes slowly with no rush.
Relaxed start. It means beginning the day calmly and slowly. For example, No deadlines, no stress, just a relaxed start to the day.
Relaxed start. It means beginning the day calmly and slowly. For example, no deadlines, no stress, just a relaxed start to the day.
And don't forget, share your answer with us in the comments. We love hearing your stories.
Now listeners, here's a question for you. If you had unlimited money tomorrow, what would you do in the morning?
Perfect. Now let's imagine the afternoon with unlimited money.
Yes, every comment helps other listeners practice English and imagine their own unlimited money mornings. And remember, you can also download our free PDF transcript, which includes all the bold words from today's episode, plus fun practice exercises.
Alright, now it's the afternoon. Still no financial worries. What could we do?
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great content. Click the subscribe button and stay updated with our latest episodes.
That sounds perfect. I love walking slowly and looking at beautiful houses, exotic trees, flowers, and birds. It's so peaceful.
I think first we could go for a walk. Maybe in a beautiful park in a new country or around a fancy neighborhood. No rush. Just enjoying the scenery.
Yes, and maybe take some photos of historical buildings or the sky. Not for work, just for fun.
Me too. And we could stop sometimes. Maybe sit on a bench in Paris, watch people, or just enjoy the sun. It's a slow afternoon, not a fast one.
After the walk, we could cook slowly. No hurry. Just enjoy making a gourmet lunch or a fancy snack. We could try a new recipe from a world-famous chef or just make something simple like a sandwich with expensive ingredients.
Or we could even book a flight to a tropical island. That would be a small happy thing we can do with our free time.
Yes, and we can take time to enjoy the smell of the food, taste it slowly, maybe even share it with a friend or family in a big, beautiful house.
And while cooking, we can listen to music or even sing a little. Cooking becomes fun, not a task.
Or we could sit and read a book, something we like, a story, a comic, or even a magazine. No pressure, no time limit. Just enjoy reading.
That's the best part of an unlimited money day. We do things for fun, not because we have to. And after cooking, maybe a short nap, just 20 or 30 minutes to feel rested and calm.
That's right. We can do hobbies we like and focus on having fun, not finishing anything.
Yes. And after reading, maybe we can do a hobby like drawing, knitting, playing music, or even dancing a little at home. Today, we have free time to enjoy ourselves.
And the nice thing is we can choose anything we like. No financial worries, no stress, just time for ourselves.
Wow, I love this imagined afternoon. Walking, cooking slowly, reading, napping. It feels so calm.
That's true. Sometimes doing nothing is the best part of a relaxed afternoon.
And maybe we can even have a little tea or snack break outside, watch the sky, talk with friends, or just sit quietly.
Free time. It means time when you do not have to work or study. For example, I had a lot of free time today.
All right, let's pause here and teach some useful words from this afternoon.
Enjoy yourself. It means have fun and feel happy. For example, I like to enjoy myself by reading a book.
Free time. It means time when you do not have to work or study. For example, I had a lot of free time today.
Do hobbies. It means do things you like for fun like drawing, music, or dancing. For example, we can do hobbies we like and focus on having fun, not finishing anything.
Enjoy yourself. It means have fun and feel happy. For example, I like to enjoy myself by reading a book.
Peaceful. It means calm, quiet, and relaxing. For example, my afternoon was peaceful.
Do hobbies. It means do things you like for fun like drawing, music, or dancing. For example, we can do hobbies we like and focus on having fun, not finishing anything.
Relaxed afternoon. It means an afternoon spent slowly and happily without stress. For example, I had a relaxed afternoon just walking and cooking slowly.
Peaceful. It means calm, quiet, and relaxing. For example, my afternoon was peaceful.
And don't forget, share your answer with us in the comments. We love hearing your ideas.
Relaxed afternoon. It means an afternoon spent slowly and happily without stress. For example, I had a relaxed afternoon just walking and cooking slowly.
Okay, now let's imagine work or school, but with unlimited money. What would happen?
Now listeners, here's a question for you. If you had unlimited money, what hobby would you do today?
Yes. And at school, students would sit quietly or talk or nap because there's no need to study for a better job in the future. Nothing is urgent.
Yes, every story is a chance to practice English and imagine your own relaxed afternoon.
Wow. Students would be so happy, but maybe a little lazy.
Oh, I can see it now. People at the office just chatting, drinking coffee, maybe even playing games. And no one is finishing anything.
But maybe after a while, some people would feel bored. Without the need to earn money, some tasks might never get finished.
Exactly. Imagine a teacher saying, homework, no problem. You can do it later or never. Money is no object.
Let's imagine a funny scene. I'm at my desk. No emails, no phone calls, nothing to do. I start drawing pictures on my notebook, then a little nap, and then a snack break. Perfect.
True. And adults too. At work, people could just take it easy. Go with the flow and drink coffee all morning.
Sounds like a dream. But after a while, maybe someone will think, should I do something? But the pressure is gone. So maybe nothing happens.
Yes, exactly. The need for money gives us motivation, but without it, maybe we just relax too much.
Yes, I can imagine a whole office, everyone with coffee, talking, laughing, no one doing work.
And I'm at school, sitting in class, no homework, no test. I take out a comic book and start reading. Then maybe some friends join me, and we start playing cards.
It's funny. Sometimes money and the need to earn it feels stressful, but it also gives us motivation to finish something.
That's the funny part of a no-money day. We feel free, but also a little lazy. And maybe some people will start chatting too much or watching videos or even go outside just to wander around.
Alright, let's pause here and teach some useful words and phrases from this part.
Or a classroom, students quietly coloring, reading comics, or even napping, and the teacher just smiles.
Take it easy. It means to relax and not worry. For example, today I will take it easy at work.
True. Money is like a small push. Without it, maybe too much relaxation.
Go with the flow. It means to do things naturally without a strict plan. For example, I like to go with the flow on weekends.
Take it easy. It means to relax and not worry. For example, today I will take it easy at work.
Due date. It means the day or time when something must be finished. For example, the due date for homework is tomorrow.
Go with the flow. It means to do things naturally without a strict plan. For example, I like to go with the flow on weekends.
Finish later. It means to do something later, not now. For example, I will finish later because I have no rush.
Due date. It means the day or time when something must be finished. For example, the due date for homework is tomorrow.
Lazy. It means not wanting to work or do anything. For example, I felt a little lazy this morning.
Finish later. It means to do something later, not now. For example, I will finish later because I have no rush.
Wander around. It means to walk or move without a plan. For example, I just wandered around the park for fun.
Lazy. It means not wanting to work or do anything. For example, I felt a little lazy this morning.
And don't forget, share your answer with us in the comments. We love hearing your ideas and stories.
Wander around. It means to walk or move without a plan. For example, I just wandered around the park for fun.
Okay, now that we've imagined a whole day with unlimited money, let's talk about the good and the bad.
Now listeners, here's a question for you. Would you really get things done if you had unlimited money?
For me, the good thing is feeling relaxed. I can take my time, do what I enjoy, and not feel stressed about expenses. Exactly.
Yes, it's fun to imagine, and it helps us practice English while thinking about our dream unlimited money day. And remember, you can also download our free PDF transcript, which has all the bold words from today's episode and fun exercises to practice these new phrases.
And having a slow day can actually make you feel happy. Sometimes we forget how nice it is to just relax and enjoy the little things.
Yes. Let's start with the good.
And the good thing is we can choose what we want to do. Maybe cook something new, draw, or just watch birds outside. No rush, just fun.
And I like how we have free time to do hobbies, read, or just enjoy ourselves. That's another good thing.
And sometimes a relaxed day helps us feel ready for the next busy day. A calm day can give us more energy.
Yes, even a small walk, a quiet afternoon, or a fun hobby, it all helps reduce stress.
Well, without the need to earn money, some people might feel a little lazy.
I like that. And we can listen to music or drink coffee slowly and not worry about emails, homework, or meetings that we have to do for money.
Or at work, people could finish nothing. The need for money helps us stay productive. Without it, maybe we don't finish tasks.
That's a good point. Okay, now let's talk about the bad side.
Money can give us a little push. Without that push, it's easy to just relax too much or procrastinate.
Yes, I can imagine lying on the couch all day, eating snacks, watching TV, and doing nothing important.
Oh yes. Like I will clean my desk later, maybe tomorrow.
And at school, some students might play games or nap instead of studying. No financial goal, no motivation, right?
Now, listeners, here's a question for you. Do you think money is more helpful or more stressful?
Procrastinate. That's the big word. It means to wait or delay doing something important.
And don't forget, share your answer with us in the comments. We love hearing your thoughts and stories.
Exactly. So, a day with unlimited money can be both good and bad. Good for resting, relaxing, and enjoying life. Bad if we become too lazy, procrastinate, or don't get things done.
Yes, thinking about the good and the bad helps us understand ourselves and how we work best.
And don't forget, share your answer with us in the comments. We love hearing your thoughts and stories.
Yes, we talked about waking up slowly, eating breakfast without hurry, taking walks, reading, doing hobbies, and even feeling a little lazy sometimes.
Wow, today was so much fun. We imagined a whole day with unlimited money from morning to night.
And we hope you practice listening and speaking with us. Remember, the more you practice, the more confident you become in English.
We also learned some useful words like relaxed, lazy, productive, motivation. Take your time, go with the flow, and enjoy yourself.
Yes, and we would love to hear your stories about an unlimited money day. Share your thoughts in the comments.
Also, we want your ideas. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about in a future episode, please suggest it in the comments.
That's right. Your suggestions help us make episodes that are fun and useful for learning English.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed imagining a relaxed, fun day without financial stress.
Until next time, keep practicing, enjoy your English, and have fun.
Bye-bye, everyone.
See you next time on English Talking Today.